One of the most powerful civilizations in human history lasted over 3,000 years. Ancient Egypt built the pyramids, invented paper, and created one of the earliest writing systems in the world. But then, something went terribly wrong. Within just a few decades, this mighty empire crumbled, and for centuries nobody could figure out why. Today, scientists finally have answers, and they are shocking. To understand the collapse, we need to go back to around 1200 BC, a period historians call the Bronze Age collapse. This was not just an Egyptian problem, it was a global catastrophe. Entire civilizations across the Mediterranean vanished almost overnight. The Hittites, the Mycenaeans, and several others. Trade networks that had connected the ancient world for centuries suddenly broke apart. But what triggered all of this destruction? The first clue came from climate science. Researchers studying ancient lake sediments and tree rings discovered something alarming. Around 1200 BC, the eastern Mediterranean experienced a severe drought that lasted nearly 150 years. Rivers dried up, crops failed year after year, and food became dangerously scarce. For Egypt, which depended entirely on the Nile's annual flooding to grow food, this was devastating. When the Nile stopped flooding properly, millions of people faced starvation. But the drought was only the beginning. As food supplies collapsed, desperate populations began to move, creating massive waves of migration. Ancient Egyptian records describe mysterious invaders they called the Sea Peoples. These were not a single army. They were a chaotic mix of displaced groups from across the Mediterranean, all searching for food and land. The Sea Peoples attacked Egypt's borders repeatedly, overwhelming its military defenses. Pharaoh Ramesses III managed to defeat them in a famous battle around 1178 BC. But the victory came at an enormous cost. Egypt's treasury was nearly emptied, and the problems did not stop there. Inside Egypt, the economy was falling apart. Workers building the royal tombs went on strike, one of the first recorded labor strikes in history. They had not been paid or fed for weeks. Corruption spread through the government as officials hoarded resources for themselves. The priesthood of Amun grew so powerful that it began to rival the pharaoh's own authority. Egypt was being torn apart from the inside and the outside at the same time. By around 1070 BC, the new kingdom of Egypt officially collapsed. The country split into two competing regions and never fully reunited under its own power again. Foreign rulers, first the Libyans, then the Nubians, then the Assyrians, took control one after another. The Egypt that had built the Great Pyramid was gone forever. So, what is the real lesson here? Modern scientists believe no single event destroyed Egypt. It was a cascade. Climate change triggered food shortages, which caused mass migration, which led to war, which drained the economy, which fueled internal corruption. Each problem made the next one worse, creating a spiral that no government could survive. And here is what makes this story terrifying for us today. Many researchers have pointed out that this pattern, climate stress, food insecurity, mass displacement, economic strain, and political instability, looks remarkably familiar. The ancient Egyptians were not stupid. They were one of the most advanced civilizations on Earth. But even they could not outrun a chain reaction of crises hitting all at once. History does not repeat itself exactly, but it often rhymes. If you found this fascinating, hit subscribe. Every week we break down the biggest mysteries and turning points in human history. Drop a comment telling me which ancient civilization you want us to cover next.